Hello and welcome back to Operations with Void. I'm your host, Forgotten Void, and this week we will be showcasing one of the Black Friday ships. You could see two of the ones I got this year, which is Cossack Black and Massachusetts Black. So we're going to focus on Massachusetts Black. I also got Brandenburg, but I have yet to do a video or play much of her. Anyways. Massachusetts Black, you can only get as the black ship right now or in crates in Santa. So you cannot purchase her directly other than through Black Friday. So she's one of the limited ships. She shares that quality with a few of the Black Friday ships, actually. Let's quickly go to the armory in which Black Friday ships can only be purchased. It's in the Black Friday section. So in here, these ships, they can all get purchased. And this group all can be purchased separately. And this group all purchased separately. Here, Jean Bart. Jean Bart can only be purchased as a Black Friday ship. All the others are available elsewhere. Alaska B can only be purchased as a Black Friday ship. The others can be purchased elsewhere. And here, Massachusetts B can only be purchased at Black Friday ship. Let me see, is Sasho. We quickly go, tier 8. Japanese. Nope, Asasio can only be purchased as a Black Friday ship. So, those are your Black Friday only ships. And we're going to go over Massachusetts. It is a brawling American battleship. So this is the build I have for her. We have gun feeder for shell switching time for the main battery. We have IFHE because this brings the secondary, brings it up to penning 26 millimeters. And this passes the 25 millimeter threshold. And a lot of cruisers have 25 millimeter armor, light cruisers specifically, Japanese cruisers, and so this is so that you can get direct damage. It halves the fire chance, so you go from 5 to 2.5%, but you're actually going to get a lot more damage from this, and so that's why I choose IFH, inertial fuse, for these shells. Long range and manual secondaries, those are your secondary skills. Then we have fire prevention and concealment expert as survivability skills, and adrenaline rush for when you lose HP. Because unlike the other American ships, Massachusetts has a short cooldown heal, but it doesn't heal as much HP back. Like the North Carolina heals a lot of HP back, but the Massachusetts only heals a little bit back. So we can go to equipment. So like the heal, it's 397 plus 397 HP per second for 28 seconds with a 38 second cooldown. North Carolina, on the other hand, is plus 522. So you're getting a good 125 more HP per second than the Massachusetts. So less heal, but a much shorter cooldown. So that is why some people might actually take the emergency repair expert, because you will actually run through all of your heals. Because they cool down so quickly, you might actually get 5 uses out of them. So, and then I have the fire extinguishing time because I don't have the skill. I use the flag, use the secondary for the more range. AA because plus 5%, it actually has really good AA, and this helps with Hermes. The minus 5% to cooldown reload, that is for the repair and the heal. And then this gets you a little bit more heal with it. So did I have that mount on the North Carolina? Yes, I did. Okay. So that is how I have the north equipment. Yeah, so secondaries. You can either do damage control or propulsion. Either is fine. It's whether you want to dodge or you want your fires to last less. I'd take propulsion because normally if you're set on fire, as soon as the fire goes out, you're going to be set on fire again. So even having the faster extinguishing time, it doesn't really seem to help for me. We do concealment rather than consumable action time. Consumable action time really only helps with increasing the time of the repair party and the heal. It does the spotting aircraft too. So for Cherry Blossom, you can shoot longer, but it's not really necessary. The concealment actually helps, not only for dispersion, but also so that you can get closer to the enemy before you're spotted, and that's very important with brawling ships. We also have auxiliary armaments because the main battery mods, they're already all you have is the main guns. They're heavily armored. They're not going to get knocked out very much. Whereas the secondary mounts, they have a more flexible HP, and so you want to keep them alive longer. And this actually really helps because that actually is a good part of your damage, and they get knocked out pretty quickly if you don't have any survivability for them. So that's how I have my Massachusetts built. With that, we're going to showcase Killer Whale with this ship. It's going to be similar to the northern route. Should be posted right here. This is the northern route in a cruiser, and we're going to just do the same route in the battleship because I said you could do it in a battleship, but I have never actually showed it. So without any further ado, we'll go into battle. So here we are into battle. It should be clear that I'm not in a division, just your standard Killer Whale. So with this one, you have a bunch of people who are going into the harbor, and so you have to go in and attack the harbor, kill all the ships with guns, and once the enemy ships, all the enemy ships in the harbor with guns specifically, are sunk, then the enemies outside will spawn and the reinforcements will start spawning, and they have a set timer. I believe it's 2 minutes and 15 seconds between each spawn. Or is it 2 minutes and 45 seconds? Anyways, it's written on the wiki. If you want to know the details of each spawn, it's written on the wiki in the description below. Anyways, so you have a bunch of forts. Anybody who's doing this run, don't worry about the forts at the north. If you want to do the forts at the north, you should be doing the northern route, which you need torpedoes. You can find a link for that here for how I did that run. So what we are doing is we are focusing on the forts, and we are basically assisting by focusing on the forts. Those forts are pretty much taken care of, so our secondaries are penning, so we don't have to worry too much about the low health forts. I'm going to try and take out a Nuremberg. We're just going to sit out here in the bay, outside the bay, because we don't really look at that robbed. Anyways, we're not going in because we're going to need to go back to A1. If you were to go into the harbor, we would not have enough time to go back out and fight the ships when they spawn in. So we actually have a really, really stacked team with the Tirpitz, Bismarck, Eugen, Massachusetts, Mogami. I'm not sure which guns they're using. That's the 155s. Then yeah, it's really stacked. And for some reason, we all decided to go this harbor. this side. We are just going to come and basically be backline support for whoever who's coming this way. But it seems like we're not really needed. There's the downside of the Massachusetts guns. They're not very accurate at range. At close range, at brawling ranges, they're good enough, but at long range, the Sigma's pretty low, so they will spread out. And another thing about this build, I'm building a brawling build, your main gun range is only 18.3 kilometers. With her sister ship, Alabama, who is main gun build, you get a nice 21 kilometer range, more if you build into it. Well, more with the... yeah, you get a longer range and more accurate guns, so... Yeah, with this one's really a closer range brawling, and so the spotter plane, you really need the spotter plane since you only get 18 kilometers of range. But yeah, North Carolina, and so anybody who has the North Carolina color and anybody who runs Alabama, those are a long range build, if you can hit anything with those very floaty shells. I've done this route, the same route in Kansas, and Kansas with the long main battery, you're shooting at Gneisenau from all the way out here. It's funny because when you are shooting at these ranges with American AP, like 20 plus 22 kilometers out, the plunging fire can actually citadel Gneisenau. So even if you get 1 or 2 hits, being able to citadel Gneisenau is really nice. It's something you can't do from close up. So what we're doing is we're moving up to the A1 line to get into position, because if all the ships without guns are not destroyed within time, it's the 12-minute mark that the ships will spawn in. And so we need to be in position for that. Now it's the 12-minute mark, and then the 9:45, 6:30, and 3:45. Okay, then it's 2 minutes and 45 seconds, because it's 12 and then 9:15 and then 6:30 and then 3:45. But again, these times are flexible. So if everything is killed quickly, then the ships outside will spawn immediately, and the timing is all pushed up depending on when the first one spawned. So as you see here, we've went ahead and completed the onshore facilities. They've all been destroyed. So this is why you don't really have to bother with the forts up north. There is 20 forts and facilities on the map, and you only need to kill 18. So as long as you kill everything down south, you can leave the 2 forts up north and you don't have to bother with them. Sure, it's nice for the carrier player if they're destroyed, then they can help with the spawns up north. But honestly, if you're going up there to kill the forts, you might as well stay up there and be useful and make sure those ships don't go into the harbor. And so we're going up close to the line. We're doing this because the Massachusetts, being a brawling battleship, will take, and having the accurate secondaries, the secondaries will kill the destroyer very, very quickly. A non-brawling battleship, what you want to do is you want to ram, like have either the destroyer ram you or you be in a position so that you can ram kill the Fubuki. And the reason is, a ram kill with a Fubuki, one, it's all healable back. torpedo isn't, but a ram hits all of its healable back. 2, the HP of the Fubuki is less than the damage a torpedo would do. You see, the Cimarrons are all done. And that's okay if you kill the Cimarrons before you kill the Gneisenau, because if the ships, if you can do it quickly, because if you kill all the Cimarrons, the transports, and then you kill the last ship with guns, and nothing spotting any ship inside that harbor, and you have someone outside like I am, then the ships, the second wave will go to whoever is outside because they can see them. They will go to the closest ship they can see. Now, if they don't see any ships, they will just go into where their RPF is. And there we go. We have the health of the Fuso, and the Fubuki's already at half health. And now the main thing is complete. The ship up north is already locked in. It's going to whatever ship is down south, whatever it can see. It's already seen that, so the Nuremberg will be going south and not towards me, which is unfortunate, since our allies are all pretty far deep into the harbor. So what we're doing here is we're going nose into the Fuso so that it will bounce off of our nose. Ow, where'd that 10k come from? Bot and cheating bot. I think they have improved pen. Because it's often like your bow on, they shouldn't be able to do damage to you, yet they'll somehow do weird ricochet and into you damage. Yeah. So yeah, we were doing that using our rear gun on the destroyer because might as well get the most out of our guns. We destroyed an enemy battleship. So now we're moving to get positioned so that we can deal with the Nuremberg. The next Nuremberg that spawns in. Yes, this map has a lot of Nurembergs. 4? You have one at the beginning in the harbor, one that comes from near where the Gneisenau is, one that spawns at the A9 section, and then one that spawns at C1. So you have 4 Nurembergs that spawn in. Yep, there we go. Just a little bit faster, and then we could have saved the star, but they were just too deep, and that's why you really don't want to go too deep into the harbor, so you can deal with the Nuremberg if you are called to do it. You have to do it, so if no one goes up to the A9 section. And here I'm debating whether to do it, and I went ahead and used the heal, and that's because I didn't want an AP broadside like that. Because the Nuremberg, their HE will pen pretty much everywhere, and their AP will do even more damage. The HE is nice, even though it pens, it has low damage, so I'd actually rather take HE damage than armor piercing. And so we're going ahead and healing back up. And we're getting it positioned to for the second battleship, and it's this time it has an Alba as an escort, whereas the first one had a Fubuki. I miss the older one when you actually had more ships. And so we're going there because we can get a broadside and nice big damage before we have to turn bow in. And since we're turning bow in, we're also going to have to deal with the Alba, since that has torpedoes. Luckily, our allies have come out and are starting to help us. And I don't mind letting this fire burn, because that means Alba shoots armor piercing. Oh, look, a Citadel. When it has 4,000 HP. We got a pity Dell. Because all three went in. And all three penned. So one was an overpen, one was a penetration. So literally the last shell to hit was the Citadel. For probably minimal damage. And another thing, we're using 406. I mean, 380 millimeters can do this as well. Smaller guns cannot. But we're overmatching the bow, or in this case stern, of the battleship. And because we're overmatching it, we're just we're doing full penetration damage, and we don't have to worry about ricochets. And we have the destroyer in. We want the destroyer dead first. Also, the other ships, what I'm going to do is turn that way to take care of them. And again, the destroyer is what's focusing on, so we want it dead, especially since we have no more heals left. And this is where I'd say you could have the extra heal, and it would help, because you will run through all of the heals. And we're using armor piercing because the wrong shell type is still better than no shell type. And I expect it to die before we reload again. So at this point, now all that's left is to exit. We have all 7 of our members. They are probably going to exit soon-ish, as soon as the carrier comes. But we have one more. There's actually 2 more waves. Next one's going to be at 3:45. Where, since everybody's closer, we're just going to go back and face the... it's going to be a York, a Gneisenau, and a Moss. Labyrinth Moss. So those are the 3 ships that are going to spawn. The Labyrinth Moss and the Gneisenau are going to spawn in 5 and 6 on the A line, respectively. And then the York is going to spawn around the CD on the 1 line. So that's why we have our guns. We're kind of trying to use the minimap to guesstimate where it's going to be. And I'm looking the other way so that I can activate the secondaries on the destroyer as soon as it goes, because the destroyer is worth more. And we're backing up a little bit just to make sure that to get a little bit closer for our secondaries. As 15 seconds it'll come. And you see our allies are just headed for the circle, with the exception of the one Mogami, who is trying to get in position. They're actually getting in position to go shotgun the Gneisenau. They're right next to it. Yeah. And so, see, we already selected that. And since we were right-clicking, as soon as we go with the right-click, our camera faces back around to where our main guns are facing, allowing us for a quick onto the York, just enough time to get 1 shell into it. All our secondaries are working on both of them for that little bit more damage. And so here we are at 270k damage, only 3 Citadel hits, only 4 destroyed, and a nice 330 secondary ribbons. 2 aircraft shot down because the Alba put up its planes. And we're top of the team. You have the Mogami got a system because they were shooting a lot of things, and we didn't because we only focused on a few of the ships. but we still got top of the board from our positioning and doing lots of damage to several ships, fully taking out, or mostly fully taking out, the destroyers, and they're, even though they're just a little bit damaged, they're worth a lot. The T-22 and the Fubuki. And the Fusos we did a lot of damage to, so we did most of their HP, which is why it boosts up our numbers, but like the full damage Fuso and the full damage Fubuki, they're worth about the same. Or should be worth the same when it comes to XP and econ rewards. And you see here we got several ships. We probably would have gotten the York if the game had gone on any longer, but it didn't. So as you see here, our main battery was 168 damage. Our secondary battery, 330 hits, was another 98k. So they did a lot. Like secondary to the Fuso, only 7k. To the Alba, secondary battery did nearly as much as our main guns. The Fubuki was only secondary. The T-22 was mostly secondary. That's another 8k on that one. And then another 13k secondary on this Nuremberg. The Bayern, he had another 6k. There, the secondaries didn't really have enough time to do any work. The Gade, another 12k in secondaries. So you see, our secondaries are doing a good bit of work, and this is why I built into doing direct damage for the secondaries rather than looking for fire damage, and that's why I have IFHE. So yeah, 338 hits are out of 1,200 fired. We didn't have premium up, don't have premium right now, so we only got 320k. With greens, 320k, 500 if we had premium. So this is just green boosters, not even blues. So this also is a good money making boat. And it's a good carry boat. It's also Flimby Launch Trey's favorite boat, and he's the one who got me into this. So feel free to check out his channel. It's also in the description below. With that, that's enough for today. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. Maybe comment why you didn't, or what you want to see better, what you want to see more. If there's anything that particular you want to see, like someone did request a Massachusetts, they requested for Newport, but I'm sorry, as I already told you, we went with Baltimore instead, so we're doing Massachusetts here. But yeah, no, if you and I need to do more British destroyers, as someone pointed out, so I'll get around to that someday. But yeah, if you want to see something, let me know. With that, I hope to see you again next week. Have a good one.